Yep, I was right. Initially, when I started this protocol, I was dealing with my PMDD, and I did all of the research in the allopathic holistic world of all the different remedies, tried most of them, if not all of them, out in some way, shape, or form. Because even if the ones they don't try out, it's still the same mineral base. It's just a conglomeration of another set of minerals called something different. So, Candida, what that is, it's yeast overfed. It contributes, it is the cause of leaky gut. When you have leaky gut, you have malabsorption, you have aging, and then you have people who are glitching. Some people glitch to where the only issues that you really see is maybe a few issues in their lifetime, but not enough to really land them in jail. But they're shades of issues, and then you see them age. You see them start decaying. So they can live an exemplary lifestyle, but they're decaying. Okay. So then you have on the other end of the spectrum from malabsorption, psychoticness, people who are psycho or sociopaths. And then they'll go and do murder sprees. And that's when the body is really breaking down due to malabsorption. And then you have people who just are kind of like there, doing what they do, could be potentially being an activist, but they're aging, they're decaying, they're emoting, and they're blaming everybody but themselves of why it is that the society isn't the way it's supposed to be. Well, guess what? Everybody suffers from malabsorption. Everybody that expects to die suffers from malabsorption. What does that malabsorption comes from? It comes from Candida. What's Candida? Yeast overfed. How does the yeast get overfed? Because people are taking in elements that are causing imbalances on top of already imbalances in their system. And then what do? They try to play the avoidance game, or they blame, or they try to do a different diet. But no matter what it is you do, no matter who it is that you blame, you will never ever fix your leaky gut until you bring in the right elements, the right chemistry, to then align yourself with the biochemistry. And so, no matter what, when you have malabsorption, it then causes glitches, it causes weaknesses, as well as weaken your already said weaknesses. So, if you have a generational weakness, such as heart disease, breast cancer, or any other system that has sustained some kind of weakness in your family genetic history, family medical history, guess what? The Candida and then all the other mineral imbalances you've already sustained, okay, are going to then weaken those weaknesses, and then you're still exposed to viruses, and I don't care how you get them. You could be somewhere unvaccinated near a higher like mineralized area. Let's say you get exposed to different minerals that are out there that on a regular strong body it wouldn't give anybody adverse reactions, but you who are unvaccinated will be in an area where there's excess minerals, or you're around people who have excess minerals and have other bacteria, and you get exposed to a virus. Or let's say this, yeah, you go to the Amazon, or you go to somewhere in Florida and you're unvaccinated, okay? I mean, yeah, you can blame on the vaccinated people, but let's say you go to somewhere like where there is no vaccines. Let's say you go to a third world country where there's no vaccines, but there's the weather and the climate, and then bacteria and viruses, and mosquitoes. Mosquitoes carry viruses. Pestilence carries viruses. So I don't care who you are. If you have a weakness in your body, and then you go somewhere, whether it's America where we're highly vaccinated, or you go to somewhere in the Amazon where there's hardly any people, and you pick up a bug bite, a virus, just from the environment, you will then start seeing glitches happen. And maybe you potentially trigger some kind of new exotic disease. and then you scurry back to America because that's where you're so safe, and then you pass that disease along to the population. So no matter what, the way in which our society is run is based and predicated upon that we know, scientists know, what the earth is capable of, because it's earth. We have biodiversity, from the real minuscule little bacteria that you can't even see with the naked eye to a huge person, a giant, a huge basking shark. Okay? So you can't discount the small little things that could tear you down. So when you have a fungus that you need in your body, when it's balanced and it becomes out of control because of your lifestyle and because of your belief system and because of what you came from predecessors who have had issues, political issues, physical issues, mental issues, and then you're compounding it with more issues, because issues will never ever leave the universe, because we have so many imbalanced people who are aging and degrading, and then they're glitching, and then that's infectious. And then they infect people all around them, who will then reinforce your weaknesses until you all go over the cliff together. Okay? So no matter what, whether it's a homicide, suicide, infanticide, war, I don't care what the issue is in our society, anything that causes death and degradation and chaos and fighting and blaming and fear, all the things that you guys don't like and want to blame somebody else for, it's because of the fact that there is an imbalance of fungus in your body causing malabsorption. And then you're doing all the wrong things to combat it. So let's say you get off your activism and now you're applying all of these minerals like in a detox or in a drink that you got from some MLMer, or you're making up your own concoction, but you're bringing in all these minerals that on an over-mineralized body, it's going to cause more imbalances. You're causing your own death process. Do you realize every single politician out there has an imbalance that's no different than yours? Do you realize every single person that you blame for your issues or your cancer and your disease and chronic illness, you are just as culpable, just as responsible for their illnesses, because you are an actual communicable person. Anyone that has had any fever, I don't care if you dealt with that fever with colloidal silver or some other heavy metal or some other highly mineralized type of detox, but if you've ever sustained a sickness, whether it's a tiny cold or a tiny flu, all the way to some kind of aging process, you have contributed to the degradation of humanity. So you can be throwing stones and blaming biotech and blaming the politicians and blaming government and blaming your mom, your dad, your wife, who cares? I don't care who it is you're blaming. You are just as responsible, because you have the imbalances. You have the weaknesses to where when you pick up a virus, wherever it's at, and you can blame, oh yeah, it was my cousin that got me sick. No, if you had a strong body, you would be asymptomatic and you wouldn't be communicable. You would have been able to process that virus. Even if you got a vaccine and you had if you were asymptomatic. Some people who get vaccines are not symptomatic because they have a weak body. Okay? So this brings it back again to the individual. Everybody has to have yeast in their body, everybody. But when it becomes imbalanced, it causes biochemical triage. What is that? When you're not taking in enough of the nutrients and the minerals and absorbing it, it's called actually the second law of thermodynamics. If no energy enters, because really when you're taking in the energy, it doesn't get absorbed, so it's not entering your body, okay? Or it leaves the system. So you're bringing in energy that you're not absorbing in the most effective way, and you're shitting it out or you're storing it in places where it causes more imbalances. But either way, it's leaving your body. Then the body has to then go and steal resources, mineral reserves from your bones, from your hair, skin, and nails to keep your brain going. As glitching as it is, to keep your brain going, to keep your lungs going, to keep your heart going, to keep your liver going, to keep your kidneys going. Hey, Patricia. Until one day you run out of those reserves, or there is your reserves are in depletion mode, and then the idiot lights come on, the symptoms. So when you have a cold or a flu and you have a headache and you're totally mucousy, your body is degrading because the body's trying to get rid of the excess bacteria that could potentially be good on a strong body. It's getting rid of excess parasite programming. It's trying to get rid of excess virus programming, as well as minerals. But now you sustained another weakness. Every single time you have a symptom, it's another nail on your coffin letting you know you are depleting your own reserves. Fix that leaky gut. And though you guys will be like, oh, I'll just do the Candida diet, and you go out there on the open market and buy all these products, or you try to compartmentalize chili juice and do sole and do kombucha and then do some kind of like juicing of your vegetables, and it is totally not working. It's ineffective, and you still have issues. So we created in my 60,000 person group that some of you were a part of. And some of you have gone away from that because you can't handle the healing process. So you've gone back to your activism, to blame because you can't handle healing. Healing is when you have to actually feel pain, when you're actually bringing in the mineral reserves so your body can go into autophagy and then push out all of those foreign objects, as well as excess minerals and excess virus programming and excess bacteria programming. And then it's like a reset. Now your body is being built up from the ground up. And then you're feeling the prostaglandin hormone, which is aids in the healing process to all of your weaknesses in your body. Then you got to feel the pain, because that and then once you've healed in layers, because your body has been disintegrating in layers over time. When you watch a times like, let's say suspension, but when you take a picture of people over time, look at your Facebook. If you've been on Facebook since 2000, I don't know, 7, 2005, 2008, and you're taking pictures of yourself, and you see every single year you're getting more wrinkles. What is that? It's your mineral reserves being depleted. When you see your hair going gray, when you're having new pains and new aches, and you can't hear, your eyesight's going, hair's falling out, you're going bald, you're getting short. That is the disintegration process. And so people who are not doing J juice, obviously, are disintegrating before our very eyes. I was disintegrating. First, I was going through all the different episodes of homeostasis, the bloating, the irritability, the total hormonal bipolar. Finally, I took my drink, which is basically cabbage water and pink Himalayan salt fermented. Okay. And I brought the minerals in. It didn't have to go and steal reserves from all different parts of my body. It started fixing the weaknesses. I felt the symptoms from all of my weaknesses. That's called biochemical triage, in the context of me actually utilizing the nutrients and the lactobacillus and the electrolytes and the minerals in my drink. And I did waterfalls, pushed out the excess programming that my body couldn't handle in my colon, in my gut. Dealt with the mucus too. And finally, I saw mental clarity. I saw more energy. I saw now my symptoms that I would deal with every month. Hey, Steve, disappear, completely reverse. My hair is growing back better. my skin, my hair, my nails, everything. All the collagen is coming back. I don't have the dry skin. I don't have the PMDD. I don't have the zits anymore every month. I barely even know when I'm going to get my period every month. I'm seeing and experiencing major, and I have mental clarity, and I have vivid dreams when I'm going through different stages of my life. Those of you who are not doing the J juice are disintegrating, and you're contributing to the disintegration of society. And you're all trying to blame Trump and trying to blame biotech and trying to blame Monsanto and trying to blame everyone but yourself. Some of you who were exposed to J juice and not doing it, I'm ashamed of you, because you have the opportunity to do J juice and you're not doing it, and you're contributing to the chaos and the death in our society. So those of you that are doing J juice, good freaking job. Okay? And so those of you who are just introduced to J juice, keep watching my videos, because I'm telling you, all the symptoms that you're experiencing are major red flags. And if you have a weakness in your heart, in your brain, okay, who's to say you're going to survive the next major symptom out there? Could be a heart attack, could be a stroke. You may have a depletion of your mineral reserves, and so your body will still try to go to biochemical triage, and there'll be nothing left for it to go and steal to keep your heart going or your brain going, to break up the lactic acid in your brain. Because that's what strokes are, is when you have a buildup of lactic acid in your body and you don't have enough electrolytes to go and break it up before the body goes into major stroke, and then you die. People that survived strokes had enough mineral reserves to keep them going, but still a red flag. They had to keep bringing in the J juice, and people stop, and then when they go get a stroke again the next time, there's nothing left. So, you know, your bones in your life, your relatively healthy life, way in the beginning was your insurance policy. But when you don't keep filling your reserves, guess what? You're living on fumes. And then guess what? You know what happens when a car is running on fumes? The reserve tank light is on, but eventually it's going to be in red, where it's going to stop. The car, your body is going to stop. And then you will then melt back into the universe, and your spirit, your biochemistry, will be floating around, lost, looking for another body to inhabit. So the pro-lifers out there who are like against abortion and all that, which I understand, they kind of know that, you know, that there are spirits that are roaming around, maybe in a subconscious way, that need a body to inhabit so they can start again and do life over again until they get it right, until they can just keep on living. Because when you're dead, you're disembodied, and now you're floating around the universe, because you don't disappear from the universe. That's what all these ghost stories are about. But the reason why the ghosts are more prevalent is because they have such an aggressive amount of negative energy, and then they contact those that have the same similar biochemistry. And that's what you see on these ghost shows. Similar biochemistries that have death and chaos in their body being able to contact the other side. I have absolutely no desire to contact the other side, because if I'm able to contact someone that's dead, I'm not too far behind. So those of you that are so like, oh, I know how to contact the other side, and I've spoken to ghosts, and I've done this and done that, you're on a death trajectory. If you think being in contact with people who are dead is something of like a gift, no, it's letting you know you're going down a death trajectory. You're not too far behind. That's kindred spirits. So these are the indicators, let you know when people are down those roads. They're blaming. They're in some kind of like, death trajectory through all of their symptoms, their activism, playing with the occult, playing with all of that stuff. And so they have a very similar biochemistry, and this is why some people are able to tap into the other side, okay? So malabsorption is the underlying cause of everything. How do you get malabsorption? Because of Candida, an overfed youngest that punches holes, makes your gut permeable so it's not absorbing. Leaky gut. And we already established this in the beginning. I just didn't have everything lined up to really, I mean, I kind of knew, but, and I had different, and I talked about hormonal imbalances, Candida imbalances, and all these different imbalances. But really, when it truly comes down to it, the bigger picture is when you have malabsorption, you're not taking advantage of the vitamins and the nutrients, and the body steals it, and then viruses exploit your weaknesses, and then you're disintegrating in front of your friends and family. Yes, Patricia. Okay, yeah, it would be a sign of, so glad I haven't seen or felt that of spirits. Yeah, you don't want to be able to see ghosts. You don't want to be able to tap into the other side. You don't want to have a near-death experience. I mean, yeah, it happens when people are, driving and somebody else is at the wheel and then you're dealing with that. But if you are tapping into the other side, or you have a near-death experience, or who knows what, playing with the occult stuff and playing with, nope, you're not. Those are major indicators, and that's why you see these people who are playing with the spirits have issues. You see the guy Aaron in Ghost Adventures. Zach's always putting him out there to go and make him bait for the ghosts. And Aaron is balding. He's getting older every season. He's getting older. Just watch the guys on the Ghost Adventures. That'll tell you exactly. And then Zach Bagan is not exactly. I mean, he's cute. He's playing with his muscles, but his job is going to take a toll on him. He can't afford to do the J juice, because then he would stop this. He wouldn't be able to tap into the spirit world anymore, because he'd be on a life trajectory, not a death trajectory. Okay? So Candida is the underlying cause. But the next book, we're not going to mention anything with Candida, because it is about entropy versus syntropy, which is Kevin. And you're going to have Kevin's take, and then you're going to hear some of my stuff in there. But it's not going to come from just that standpoint of Candida, because that comes from a symptom. I'm not trying to talk about symptoms. But when you really think about it, it's about malabsorption. And so you either keep up the mineral reserves in your body to keep the machinery going, or you disintegrate back into the universe, glitching as you leave life. And right now, every single one of you, that is not doing the J juice, you are disintegrating in front of us. And yes, Kevin, we have to have, and Kevin will talk about why yeast is in our gut, because you have to have it. But I didn't go into too much detail about that, and Kevin will go into that detail. He'll tag me in it too. But I gotta go do some stuff. But you guys, seriously, understand malabsorption is the underlying why everybody dies. Why people that are killers, why they're psychopaths, why they're activists, why there are corrupt politicians, why there's the pedophilia network, why there's all these different issues in our society that you can't control, because you can't control other people, but you can only control yourself. And if someone's at your front door trying to hurt you and you have a handgun, utilize it. But you don't need an AK-47 to take care of one intruder. Okay? Talk to you guys later. Bye.